Hi, this is David Rippey coming at you with more of the Powering Through Paralysis series. This is a reading from my book. The narrator is Alexandria Dupre.
Finding patience and setting goals. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, do not adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. Confucius. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes of mind. William James. It has been said that patience is the virtue that will safely guide us through any change. Although challenges or setbacks could initially slow you down or halt your forward momentum in completing goals, it doesn't mean you should roll over and give up. How well you approach your difficulties will determine how soon you move forward. If you approach challenges and setbacks with focus, drive, and a positive attitude, you will move forward faster. If you accept the hurdle or obstacle as a test, it will make the completion and success of conquering it more satisfying. Rather than being steeped in misery and frustration, figure out how to move in the direction you visualize by setting goals. Goals give you something to focus on. Upon accomplishing them, you will feel more motivated and energized to consider working on something else. Goals provide all of us with a sense of purpose and a stronger ability to deal with the unexpected. Accomplishing goals builds our confidence, allows us to use our minds in more creative and productive ways, and enables us to move forward to the future we want. My goal setting started when I first arrived home. I had just spent 6 months in hospitals and rehabs recovering enough to leave. I knew that it would take more time than I wanted to achieve my goals, and I accepted that I would have to have much more patience than had been necessary in the past. Things came easily then, and I was able to do them independently before my injury. Now I was in an entirely different ballgame. I realized I must try to maintain a positive approach. To not do so would hinder my ability to start working on the steps to reach the goals that I would eventually set. Often, depending on the severity or magnitude of the obstacle you are trying to overcome or the difficulty of the goals you have set for yourself, it can be a slow process, and my situation was no exception. There was no way I could just bounce back and quickly get a job after that terrible and life-changing October night. I had to accept that, however much I hated the prospect. I always had a lot of energy and liked to be on the move, but my new condition and very limited physical mobility demanded that I harness more mental energy to deal with the myriad of new issues I faced. Now back home, staring into an unknown future paralyzed from the shoulders down, I knew establishing goals was important to ward off any melancholy or despair I might have encountered if I'd just sat around the house bored and listless. Setting goals seemed like a good opportunity to keep my mind and thoughts occupied, rather than dwelling on my diminished physicality and unwanted circumstances. Fortunately, I took my time determining what goals I needed to establish. I suggest not rushing to make decisions or snap judgments in setting goals until you have thought through and studied every side or angle to your situation. Figure out what smaller goals you need to work on first before you can reach your ultimate goal. In my case, I decided to work toward a career as a money manager and determined what goals I needed to establish to attain a position in the financial industry. I knew that to have a chance in such a competitive field as money management, additional education geared toward that career was important. I also realized that I needed to hire and train a support staff that could handle the rigors the position would require. I needed a reliable van to get me back and forth to work. Practice interviews were essential to prepare me for real interviews. These 4 smaller goals had to come together for me to reach my ultimate goal of becoming a money manager. I knew to get them all in sync and firmly established would likely take more time than I wanted, and they did. Patience, I found more often than not, was rewarded with a positive outcome for me in most cases, even if sometimes the issue was incredibly demanding. Think back over some of the more troubling situations you faced and where you had a hard time maintaining patience, such as an assistant who was doing something incorrectly or moving too slow. Or maybe you were sitting in a doctor's waiting room, getting frustrated that it was taking too long to get to you. Think how you handled the event and whether there was another approach that may have resolved any perceived issues with your assistant sooner and more easily. Looking back, would more patience with your assistant have made the outcome even better? Maybe you could have softly explained how to perform the task and helped them in the process, instead of flooding yourself with frustrated thoughts and self-defeating behaviors. Looking back over the challenges you faced, you may remember in the majority of cases that things worked out okay, and that your self-inflicted mental anguish wasn't necessary. Consider the waiting rooms where we lost patience, putting our selfish interests first, while others were sitting around us also waiting to be seen, some with much more severe issues than ours. Instead of getting agitated over the occasional slow pace, consider bringing that enjoyable book you couldn't wait to get back to along with you. Or check and respond to the emails and text correspondence you put off in busier moments. The more we recognize these moments as opportunities to finish or enjoy other things we put off, the more we will find our lack of patience fading away to be replaced by contentment and happiness pursuing other time-necessary pursuits. Find ways to be productive. Even if you've forgotten your book or your computer or phone battery is almost dead, think of other ways to be productive in time that would have otherwise been wasted. If you have a purse or wallet, clean them of unnecessary receipts and wrappers, update a planner, or organize for better access and efficiency when you're on the go. Make a list of things you need to accomplish after you're finally seen, or finish a list you may have started earlier. You may find that you now feel a sense of satisfaction with your accomplishments, and that the time flies by almost too quickly! Over time, adopting a different approach to how we view situations that involve time, such as finding ways to be fulfilled or productive instead of losing patience, significantly lessens that feeling of wasted moments. For example, when a new assistant seems to take too long accomplishing a task, consider doing something independently of them and checking in periodically to advise or guide them when they get off track. While they're busy completing their work, you may find that you've accomplished something on your list. The assistant, I assure you, will be more appreciative that you offered objective advice in a soft, measured tone, instead of lurking nearby skulking, or presenting an air of impatience and frustration. With practice, finding patience, or better yet, always maintaining patience, will find one enjoying a life consumed by accomplishment, not dogged by disappointment, and finding themselves happier and more content overall. You want to learn, grow, and take away something positive from sorrow in terrible situations. Turn your worry into thinking about the challenge and how to overcome. Don't lose sight of your goals and what you need to do to accomplish them, and move forward. Most of all, work on having faith and confidence in yourself and bring more patience into your life. It will make things much easier and stress-free, I assure you.